Greetings, salutations, and welcome to the Kreeger cast. I'm your host, Patrick Kreeger, and I'm joined here today by Stephanie and Darrell.
You are.
Yes. And we are going to be talking about teas and coffees because 'tis the season of the PSL, the pumpkin spice latte, which we endeavored to try today. However, I did make a change to it.
Yours was not a latte.
No, it was not. I asked them to hold the coffee. In fact, I asked them, could I order this as a pumpkin steamer? And they said yes. For those of you who don't know, if you want a vanilla latte without coffee, you can order it as a vanilla steamer, and it's amazing.
That's a name that they recognize?
Yes, that is a name they recognize.
All right. So you had hot milk, pumpkin spiced.
Yes. And it tasted just like a liquid,
Spice.
a liquid pumpkin pie.
Amazing.
Yes.
Amazing. Would you recommend it?
Very, very, very much so. I think it was one of the best things that I've ever had at Starbucks.
Most helpful.
Actually, during their Christmas season, you can get a peppermint flavored milk product, a peppermint steamer. That's the best thing. It's like having a melted candy cane in your milk.
Amazing.
It's delicious.
Have you?
See, I just use flavored coffees. It's just the coffee is just a vehicle for the flavor. I don't like the flavor of coffee. I'm a tea person.
Oh.
So now that I've discovered this new steamer thing, I'm just gonna order everything without coffee because I hate it.
It comes from a time when I was a youth and could not stand the harsh, bitter taste of coffee. But as
An unseasoned youth.
Yes, as an unseasoned youth, I just could not stand the taste of coffee, and to this day, I cannot drink normal coffee. I do still have to have my lattes.
Though you make your lattes a little differently.
Oh, I make my lattes in a horrifying manner.
It's absolutely horrifying.
To the point where, well, dear listener, after I tell you the way I order my latte...
Please don't do this.
I have sometimes had people say, that is weird. I've sometimes had people say, no. And I've even had...
Are we referring to Darrell for all of these comments?
No. These are actual baristas. But my personal favorite one was one in England who said, that is the strangest order I've ever heard of. I'll give it to you for free.
So tell the dear listener about your strange latte.
So I have them make 2 to 4 shots, depending on the day, of espresso.
And then...
Have them fill the rest of my glass with milk.
And do they do anything to the milk?
No. Straight out of the refrigerator.
Gross.
So you end up with this like mildly room temperature latte.
Fun.
It's fantastic.
But you enjoy it.
I do enjoy it. And
For
actually,
some unknown reason.
it tastes dramatically different.
Without the foam? Just with no foam? Or
No foam. No foam, no heat, no nothing.
That's
Just
not even a
cold
latte.
milk.
That's just...
What is that if not a latte?
It is. It is. I mean, it's by definition a latte, but it's just not steamed milk. It's just latte.
Yes.
It's literally just milk.
Yep.
With coffee in it.
It's an acquired taste.
Yeah. But why do you like it like that?
The reason I like it like that is I actually don't like iced lattes.
Okay. But you don't always want a steaming hot latte.
Exactly. And when I'm in certain places, they have a hard time with the concept of like children's temperature or lower temperatures. They're like, no, we only do lattes one temperature, which is a weird thing that I get from baristas.
What is the children's temperature at Starbucks?
I don't know. I want to say it's like 160 something or 150.
Yeah.
Am I just not finding out about this? You can order something kids' temperature?
Yes.
You can change the temperature of your order at Starbucks.
And if you order at kids' temperature, you can drink it right away rather than having it be hot.
Yeah.
I want to know why they call it children's temperature, because why are you feeding your child coffee?
Well, it's for like hot chocolate.
Yeah.
They should come up with a different name. That's weird.
No, they can't. Well,
I feel wrong. I would feel wrong.
You can order it by the temperature. There's a set temperature, and you can say, I want it X degrees. I don't know what that degree is. But when you say kids temp, everyone knows what you mean.
Yeah. I think that's reasonable.
They don't do it with teas, though, because all teas are made with the same temperature.
I just feel kind of uncomfortable.
Okay. I don't know if the the microphone picked that up, but
Oh.
so
I would feel uncomfortable ordering anything as a children's version.
it's not a children's version.
It's like
it's a children's temperature.
No, I know. Just saying I don't know. It freaked me out.
Okay, so the phrase that I always use when I go to a non-Starbucks associated restaurant is a little on the cooler side.
That makes total sense.
Yeah. Except most of the time it's like 75% of hot, and so it's still too hot for me. Where I came up with this is I used to have a nighttime class at OCC that I had to go and get a cup of coffee during my break, but we weren't allowed to bring the coffee back into the computer lab because it was a Excel class. And so I would go and order
It was an extra large class.
Yeah, it was an extra large class. And so I would order a short, I think they call it. Like this thing that's slightly below a tall.
Yeah.
And I would get it kids' temperature in order to be able to consume it before I had to go back into class. So now you too, listener, can enjoy your hot beverages quickly.
Indeed.
And slightly lukewarm.
And slightly lukewarm.
Or disgustingly lukewarm. like, as if you poured a little bit of hot coffee into a cold glass of milk.
Does it really bother you that much?
It does. It does. But when it's in a mug, you can't see it happening, so it's fine. But sometimes it is kind of frightening to watch.
Okay, then. It's, I guess, better left unseen.
Unseen.
So, what are your opinions on these beverages? Like, what's your favorite Starbucks beverage?
What is my favorite Starbucks beverage?
Yes, that was directed towards both of you.
Well, you made me try a bunch of different ones last year. I like the pumpkin spice.
Mm.
There was
Okay.
There's another holiday beverage that they have too.
Oh, yeah, I know the one you're talking about. We used to get it all the time before botany. It was like the praline latte.
There's that. There was that, but there's another cinnamon one too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The praline latte had that weird little crispy crunch stuff on top that was so good.
Praline?
Yeah, I think it was the praline latte. No, they weren't actually pralines. It was
No?
like the coating that would be on a praline.
Interesting.
Because, like, Starbucks, they can't do nuts.
Oh, because of, yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know if they really can't do nuts, but they do try to avoid them. So, Stephanie, what's your favorite beverage?
I'm ashamed of my favorite beverage.
You're
because I'm a
ashamed.
tea purist, and my favorite beverage from Starbucks is a tea, but it's not a purist tea.
Ooh.
It would be like admitting that I ordered a chai latte, which I don't. That's not what it is.
Okay.
But I get a passion fruit iced tea sweetened most of the time when I go to Starbucks.
Savage.
Now,
During the autumn, obviously I'm a pumpkin spice latte girl. But I was in line for Starbucks the other day, and they had their sign up like, order our fall drinks. And one of them was the pumpkin spice frappuccino, I think, or something. It wasn't even. And the other one was a sea salt caramel iced mocha. And I was like, that sounds delicious. I wouldn't want it iced. So I just ordered it hot, and it was amazing.
Cinnamon dolce latte was the one that I used to order a lot.
Cinnamon dolce latte. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, because you refuse to pronounce it dolce.
Yeah, the cinnamon dolce latte.
Yeah.
The do-si-do latte.
Perfect. You got it that time. Great.
So, I'm going to suggest a few alterations to your beverage of choice with your passion tea.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Of course you know the passion tea lemonade.
I don't.
Oh, yes.
I hate lemonade.
Okay, well, good, because I do too. So I came up with a substitution for the passion tea.
Is it milk?
lemonade. Yes.
Oh, you're kidding me. Oh, I was totally joking. I was like, let me think of the weirdest Kreeger thing.
Actually, dear listeners, it is not milk.
Okay, good.
It's going to be great. Because I wouldn't put it past you.
No, you could assume I would do something like that.
Beef
No.
stew.
No, not beef stew either. No, seriously, apple juice.
Ooh.
So you can ask for a passion tea apple juice, and they mix it. So the passion tea is like half passion tea concentrate, and then they mix half water, which is a combination of half ice, half water.
And what's in the water?
Presumably it's water.
Oh, okay.
Water concentrate.
Yeah, we have to wait for Review Bra's review of Starbucks water in order to get the hard-hitting facts. But anyway, so yes, passion tea apple juice. But then I was at a Starbucks one day, and this woman suggested to me another alteration to the passion tea apple juice. Instead of getting cane sugar, raspberry sweetener.
That's 3 different flavors, and I love all of them, but I don't know how they would work together.
It's truly amazing.
It's good?
It's the best summertime drink from Starbucks.
Ooh.
Better than black tea lemonade.
Black tea lemonade is good, but have you tried the Dark Heart of Africa?
What's that?
Black tea tropical fruit juice.
Interesting.
Yeah. And there's 2 beverages that I know that have funny names. One of them is the Black Heart of Africa, which is the dark black iced tea with tropical fruit, and the other one is the London Fog.
And that's the tea latte, right?
Yeah.
It's Earl Grey, but they
yeah.
make it very strong, and then they pour that into milk just like a latte.
Yeah.
It's like that freaky thing you do, but with tea.
I mean, it was good. I mean, it was interesting.
You had a London Fog when we were in downtown LA getting fabric.
Oh, but that wasn't an actual London Fog.
And you, like, vomited.
This sounds like a fabricated story.
Wow. No, they called it... They had the same name. It was like a lavender tea milk drink.
Do those not taste like soap to you?
That. What?
Lavender-flavored teas, when mixed with other things, taste like soap to me.
Interesting. But I did enjoy the Starbucks London Fog.
Okay.
It was good. It tasted like ever so slightly tea flavored milk. The person that did it, I'm pretty sure they had never done it before.
We're supposed to leave the bag in it, so it's like super strong.
Yeah, no, I remember that, but it wasn't. It didn't steep much more after the fact.
Okay.
But they were a little confused when I ordered it. But
yeah, I don't even think you can actually order the Dark Heart of Africa. I don't think that's like a thing, except for the Starbucks that I got it from.
It sounds politically incorrect.
It does sound politically incorrect. So if they used to be okay with that, they're probably no longer okay with it. But
it might be one of those hidden menu things that employees actually hate doing.
That's possible. And I've asked for it a couple times, and they've always given it to me watered down. Like, it's like a third tea, a third tropical fruit juice, and a third water.
Like they have a secret stash in the back that they've held off after they stopped making it, and they just...
Yeah. Yeah.
So, kind of a funny little thing, since we're talking about lattes and teas and whatnot. Pumpkin spice latte and a chai tea latte taste the same if you plug your nose.
Everything tastes the same if you plug your nose.
Oh, that is not true. That is not true.
You have been proven to have a different sense of taste than most people.
Yes, I unfortunately lost my sense of smell, more or less.
You smell different things, though.
I do. I have the ability to smell very specific things, but not everything.
But I just don't see how... There's a certain brand that you like of the matcha that definitely smells like fish.
Actually, that's all matcha. It's just the strength I make it.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you use like...
About 4 times the
barrel.
recommended amount.
Oh my lord.
Yeah. But... Yeah, so explain your matcha latte theories, because it's ever so slightly different than your coffee latte, and it's 10 times more likely to make you vomit.
Okay, so the first thing you're gonna want to do is you're gonna take your matcha, and you're gonna
Multiply it by 6.
Take that amount and then throw it away, because you're gonna want a lot more.
Take that amount, throw it away, and then dump the rest of the package.
So what you're gonna do with it is you're gonna measure out almost a full tablespoon,
Nice.
and you take that full tablespoon of matcha and you mix it with some hot water.
Wow, hot this time.
Do you have a special matcha whisk?
No, I do not. I believe that's a sin against God.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Did
that
he,
escalated
mention,
quickly.
did he mention the matcha whisk?
I think he did explicitly,
Is that
actually.
Ephesians?
Pretty sure it's in Psalms, actually.
Okay.
I kid.
Conventional life wisdom.
Yeah.
I kid, of course.
Do you?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure I remember the matcha whisk.
I don't use a matcha whisk.
Okay.
No, I use a fork like a sane
That would be
man.
too much
Okay.
cultural
So,
appropriation
so
for
you
Kreeger.
got a
Matcha with like 3 tablespoons of hot water. 1 tablespoon of matcha. Just enough to kind of loosen it up and get it all nice and wet.
Okay.
You then add between 12 and 16 ounces of warm milk.
Warm milk. Now, do
Yeah.
you actually warm the milk?
I do warm the milk.
Okay,
In
so
what?
for this one, you actually do warm the milk.
Yeah. Normally just in a cup in the microwave.
Okay, so it's ever so slightly warm.
That's a sin against God.
Yeah, it does
Yeah,
create
I'm
a
pretty sure it's Ecclesiastes mentions thou shalt not microwave milk.
Thou shalt not microwave anything.
Yeah, I mean, you could have heated it up in a cast iron pan, but as you have said before, that's a later episode.
That is another show.
Okay, so continue the matcha story.
So, if you've done this correctly, you should have a bright green cup of milk that smells slightly like green tea, slightly like warm milk, and slightly like sardines.
Yes, slightly. It's overwhelming. It is absolutely overwhelming.
It looks like the Little Mermaid's tail, and it smells like it too.
Oh.
But, in fairness to you, when I plugged my nose and drank some of it, I got the idea of the flavors you get when you drink it.
Yeah. Like I said, unfortunately, I lost most of my sense of smell, so food tastes dramatically different to me. To put this in
So you
perspective,
can't trust any of your food reviews.
actually, you're pretty on point there. So
Different experience.
let me give you an idea of how bad this is. Okay, how bad my matcha latte is.
Okay.
My dad was born in Europe just before World War II and survived the post-war period starving. This man can eat anything that's edible and refuses to waste food.
And some things that aren't edible.
And some things that are not edible, he refused to drink my latte.
I know. That's so sad.
He eats pickled fish.
I know.
He will not
eats aged cheese.
He will not eat or drink my latte.
Yeah.
But I enjoy it.
You do. You do.
Do you have any other weird tea proclivities? Have you tried pu'er?
Pu'er
Fermented tea cakes?
Oh, yes, actually.
That cost like more than my house.
Well, I mean, they're like $75 a cake.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Because the
Low end.
real pu'er tea takes like 25 years. And then there's a new manner of producing it in China that has been using like ultra humidified warehouses that produce it in just a couple of years, I think.
There's a tea place I go to locally that I've been going to for years, and her tea ranges in price from like $30 a pound to like $500 a pound.
Yeah, we recently got jasmine tea from her.
Oh, good. She's awesome.
Yeah.
We love her.
But she has these like black tea cakes that just have the most sweet and unctuous flavor to them. Like the best mouth-feeling tea I've ever had. Is that what you're talking about?
No, it's fermented.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This was
Is
formerly
that it?
fermented and then dried.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pu'er tea.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can get them in tiny little cakes, like individual servings,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
you can get them in
You
bigger.
can get like
you know.
cakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That stuff is pretty
That's
awesome.
interesting because I feel like her stuff is. It's priced reasonably for what it is. It's very good tea, but it wouldn't occur to me that she would sell like lower end of the pay scale. Not that that's bad.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Well, she
that
has to.
She sells affordable pu'er tea.
She has to have stuff for the people who walk in off the street.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I don't think all pu'er tea is prohibitively expensive.
no, so much so that there was I think we're talking about the same thing. Pete's Coffee offered tiny little fermented tea cakes
Interesting.
that they called their Ancient Tea Collection.
Hmm.
And they only offered it for a brief period of time, and that was single-handedly the best tea I've ever had. You know, like, I think it was like $35 for a tin of like 7 ounces.
People who've tried it say that it's like amazing. I've never had pu'er tea.
Well, let's go to Pete's and see if we can find
Let's
some.
go. Let's go right now. Try some, come back, report.
Well, okay. But the mouthfeel on it is ridiculous. It's as they say, unctuous.
Interesting.
And
So that's your favorite type of tea.
Yes, if I had to pick just a plain tea,
Gotta commit
I gotta commit.
right now.
That or I do like Darjeeling.
Because I'd say there are teas that are experiences in themselves, but they're not your everyday tea drinking tea.
Oh
Right?
no, yeah.
So-
English
so-
breakfast,
Yeah.
English or Irish breakfast.
Well, and that's why I'm such a tea purist, because there are so many teas that just based on what they do to the leaf or where it comes from or what have you, just the leaf by itself is from one tea to the next such a unique drinking experience. And if you know how to properly prepare tea and properly drink tea, that might or might not be, you know, like your average English breakfast or Irish breakfast or whatever it is, like Darjeeling Poo or whatever you're going to drink. And so I kind of feel like it's unfair to the tea if you're going to infuse it with, like, lavender tea, like we were talking about with the London Fog. I don't have anything against lavender. I just think it ruins the experience of whatever tea.
Well, the terrible version of it I had was with lavender.
Right.
But the Starbucks version is just with Earl Grey.
No, I know, yeah. I'm just saying lavender teas that are enhanced with other flavors in general.
Okay.
Now, what's your opinion on Lady Grey?
I love Lady Grey. I mean, it's Earl Grey with
better.
With a touch of citrus.
Does not normal Earl Grey have lemon in it?
No,
No, it's bergamot.
bergamot.
I thought it was bergamot and lemon.
I don't believe so.
Okay.
No, it's just
And so I thought
bergamot.
that's what made Lady Grey different, was that it had orange peel as opposed to lemon peel.
No, I thought it was.
Okay. I'm more than happy to be wrong.
We're gonna
Well,
fact check.
Yeah, right now.
We're gonna fact check right this second.
Yeah. Okay, how many times does Captain Jean-Luc Picard say tea Earl Grey hot in the series?
There's actually a YouTube video about that, and it's actually not that many times.
Yeah.
It's surprising.
Most of the time he just orders Earl Grey. He very rarely says tea Earl Grey hot, though he says it in practically all the movies.
Yeah, it's his thing. But
Do you like Earl Grey or just Lady Grey?
no,
Or
I
do you
like
care?
both Earl Grey and Lady Grey. I think if I had to pick a tea forever, like a tea that I just had to drink every day forever, it would probably be Earl Grey, and Lady Grey is like the specialty. But they're both
Like the dessert tea.
yeah, they're both good, and I enjoy both of those. With or without milk and sugar.
Huh.
But yeah,
Okay. I'll admit when I was wrong.
okay.
Earl Grey is a tea blend, which is flavored with the addition of bergamot oil and a variety of orange from Italy and France.
Interesting.
So it's a variety of orange, whereas Lady Grey is far more pronounced on the orange.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's interesting.
So Earl Grey does have citrus.
Yes, I just always assumed it was lemon,
Yeah.
because I guess that variety of orange tastes to me like lemon.
Yeah.
I've tried a couple orange teas that had, like, do you remember the one that we had up in LA with Linton?
Yeah.
That was a really good tea, and that was one that I think had really nice citrus flavors in it. While I don't generally love enhanced teas, I'm not a huge Earl Grey, Lady Grey fan. I feel like it tastes like a really weak tea that has stuff in it to cover up the fact that it's a weak tea. But I know people who love Earl Grey, and I know people who hate Earl Grey, and I feel like there's no really middle camp to that.
But you also, your favorite tea brand is like, the tea is so strong.
Yeah, that's
Very-
true.
What do you drink? Berries?
Berries.
Yeah, berries.
Is my breakfast tea.
Yeah, it's the Irish tea blend.
Okay.
It's very strong. I mean,
Well, Irish breakfast is stronger than, do you know what I mean? Like, but I do like strong teas.
But I mean, the tea brand itself, like their original blend, is incredibly strong. It's like the equivalent of drinking 4 cups of coffee for me. Like it's.
Yeah, I remember that when we went to Ireland, he was like shaking after 1 cup of berries, and we're like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah, and your grandmother wants to, give you
Keep refilling.
10 of them. So.
Since we're talking about tea, I'm going to share with y'all my favorite Earl Grey.
Ooh.
Now, this Earl Grey comes to us from 3030, which is now a chain of coffee shops in the Peoria, Illinois area. They have, I think, 3 or 4 locations, and they have a variation on Earl Grey that blows my mind.
Interesting. Earl Grey Moonlight.
Yes, because it's an Earl Grey, but they add one additional thing to it.
Moonlight.
They add the moonlight.
And let's see if you guys can figure out what it is.
Ooh.
We're currently passing around a freshly opened bag of this tea.
Wow. That's a very interesting smell.
Yeah.
But I wonder what it is.
Wait.
If either of you can guess this, it would amaze me because
Chocolate.
I had never heard of this until this tea.
I mean, it smells sweet. It smells... There's like a spiciness
one
to
thing?
it.
It's just one additional ingredient.
What is it?
Corn flowers.
Interesting.
Ooh.
Yeah, they're these little purple flowers they
Yeah.
add to it, and it changes the flavor entirely.
Really?
For the next pot of tea, we could make some.
Is this done yet? I want to try it.
We're on the standard Darjeeling right now.
Yes, except I'm
Which-
on English breakfast.
Yeah,
Oh.
you are.
Fine.
And Darjeeling, of course, is a region. So you could, in theory, have a green Darjeeling or black Darjeeling. It's
Really?
just from Darjeeling. And there's so many different... The varieties, like there are a bunch of different name classifications.
Have you not given you a tea talk?
No,
Have
actually,
you not been to my tea
I've
talk?
not been to your tea talk. I am unfortunately a teetotaler.
Oh,
Oh.
wow. You shall be
okay.
thrown in the
Patrick.
penitentiary as punishment.
Wow, you really spiked our numbers there.
All right.
So yes, I was actually hoping that you would give us a bit of your tea talk
Nope.
during this tea time.
No.
Gotta come
There
to the
was-
tea talk at
yeah,
Lord
there-
River. No.
Yeah.
Lord Rivers.
.com.
Yeah.
.blogspot.com.
.blogspot.com. No, I mean, there's with Darjeeling, Assam, Wuyi, those are all regions where the tea is grown that might have an influence on the variety name as opposed to green, black, white, yellow. Those are all things that are the oxidation and toasting process or steaming process. It's how it's prepared. And then you can have your different individual, almost like individual farm teas. Your tea
Yeah.
plantation. Just like there'll be an individual vintage from a
Plantation.
winery. You, what was your pun?
Plantation.
A plantation. Yes. Wow.
You're all weak, folks.
You're,
Yeah.
you're making me think of a very strange process in tea production that I once heard about.
Oh no.
And I'm wondering if you could tell me
About?
if you could elucidate for me more about it.
Yes.
Apparently, they allow a specific type of aphid to infect the tea plant. And this particular type of aphid eats the tip of the tea leaf off. It then sucks on it for a number of days, which causes the tea leaf to react to this attack and causes it to fill with sugars and other chemicals to fight off the aphid. At which point the aphid can no longer eat from the tea plant, and so it leaves. And these particular leaves are harvested for that
Wow.
particular taste.
I actually have no idea about that.
It's
My tea talk is mostly historical, and then
okay.
and then I kind of filled in the gaps, needing to explain what the different processes are. But I don't know about
Aphid tea.
Aphid tea.
Yeah, it's very specific
Yeah.
to a particular region in Taiwan.
Interesting. Oh, because our tea lady's from Taiwan.
And it's the tea she's most proud of.
We asked for a tea in there, and she was borderline offended because it seemed like a mainland China thing.
Oh,
I don't
it's
remember
possible.
what it was. But she's like, nope, we don't have those. Nope.
Our tea lady is amazing. I've known her since I was like 9.
Maybe it was a white tea.
Yeah, it was white
no,
tea.
she doesn't do white
She does
tea.
not do white tea.
She's
Yeah.
like, that's
No. that's-
Chinese tea.
No, it's not that it's
Hate
Chinese.
Chinese tea.
It's not that it's Chinese tea. It's just, it would be like going to, like a nice wine shop and saying, I like this wine, but can we add seltzer water to it? Like,
Really?
Yeah.
But that's not...
That's not how
Why?
white teas.
Why would...
I get that. And
I think it's probably a national thing.
I see. That's the thing, is I think it's, at least with her, I won't say this about all Taiwanese people, hashtag not all, but with her, white tea is incredibly low end, and it's taking what could have been a good product and ruining it.
The drink of oppressors.
Wow.
This is cool. I looked it up. It is
The aphid tea?
Dongfang Meiren tea.
I don't know. I just know it's very expensive.
It is produced from a variety of tea plant cultivars grown without insecticides to encourage a common pest, the tea green leafhopper, to feed on the leaves, stems, and buds. These insects suck the phloem juices of the tea stems, leaves, and buds, which lead to a tea plant's production of more monoterpene diol that gives us the tea its unique flavor. The buds then turn white, add a sweet note to the tea. It smells like honey.
Yeah. It really is a remarkable tea.
I
So
want some
back
now.
to the white tea.
Yes.
I mean, white tea is... I mean, there's a big argument about the definition of white tea, but essentially, everyone can agree white tea is just unprocessed, just dried tea. So we
Yeah.
take the leaf of Camellia sinensis, and we don't roll it, we don't oxidize it in any way,
Yep.
and you just dry it.
Yep.
And that produces the, a very light flavor.
So
A very light color.
your
Yeah.
explanation of that just gave me a better explanation for her disdain of it.
Yeah.
It would be like going to a sommelier and asking for Welchers.
Yeah.
It's like
yeah,
it's a pre sort of thing. They're like,
Pre-done.
yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, there are people that swear by white tea.
Yeah.
I mean, I think white tea is an experience. It's not one of those everyday things for people. I like the white teas I've tried,
So do I.
but
I don't judge about the white tea.
Yeah, and it's probably closer to like the original tea. It's just dried tea leaves. You know, back when the emperor was sitting under the tea tree,
Under the tea tree.
and the leaf just fell into his bowl of hot water. Totally how it happened.
Wait. I've heard that story.
That's the apocryphal story.
I've heard that story.
Yeah.
But I always assumed it was just a bowl of room temperature water, not actually hot
No,
water.
he was drinking the hot water.
Okay, why?
That don't you drink hot water as a delicious beverage? Oh no, all of your beverages
Or just milk.
are lukewarm.
Yes.
And milky.
Because anything cold or anything hot will hurt the stomach.
Okay. Was that a BuzzFeed article?
No. That's a piece of propaganda from the post-war era.
Which war?
World War II.
Okay.
There was a big push by Coca-Cola to get the Germans to drink Coca-Cola cold because they refused.
Okay.
And there was this whole thing about how, don't worry, even if you drink it ice cold, it's all bubbles by the time it hits your stomach, so it won't hurt your digestion.
It's funny how different people, when you say you before or after the war.
Which war?
Which war?
Yeah,
they think
because
of.
usually, I mean, if I say, oh, it's after the war, it's probably the Civil War with me.
Yeah.
And it's World War II with you.
Yes.
Could be anything. What's the war for you, madam?
I don't
The
know.
English Civil War?
Yes.
Yes, after the war. When
After.
Cromwell was marching about.
Yes.
Ridiculous.
So let's talk tea bricks.
Brick tea. So, brick tea came into my life because Townsend used to have it in their catalog. Okay, so there's
Used
this
to.
big...
They don't sell it anymore.
No. Okay, so I think they caught wind of the fact that it was Farbate too. So anyway, big brick of tea. It's this like, 8-inch brick of tea. Just a pressed black brick.
Yep.
And
Well done.
it's apparently very popular in Central Asia. It's still used in like Mongolia, in Kyrgyzstan, Tibet. We still have, Western China. There's still use of brick tea, and it was in the Townsend's catalog.
They sold it at Mount Vernon.
They sold it at Mount Vernon, and a lot of people erroneously thought that brick tea was common in the Americas and probably was the tea that came over in the East India Company ships that ended up being part of the Boston Tea Party. And the evidence against that really is that it's only it's brought to Europe as a specimen. It's so uncommon. It's like, here, look at this. This is crazy. And it's not the standard at all for tea in the Western world. And we know that the types of tea and how it was transported to the Boston Tea Party. Just to mention that, I mean, they're in crates that 300-pound crates. So obviously they're not lifting it above their head and tossing it into Boston Harbor. They most likely dumped it onto the deck and shoveled it into the harbor. But that's beside the point. Back to brick tea. It's not particularly common in the Western world, and
which I think you can understand. I mean, how people might have thought that with the whole scraping of the tea, because we do at the time you do it with sugar.
Yeah.
Right, sugar comes in loaves and you scrape it.
Yeah, but anyway, how you prepare the brick tea is you break off. You either scrape it or you break off these pieces of it, and most of the time that is boiled. Like the water and the tea are boiled together, or it's introduced to boiling water. And most of the cultures that are using brick tea also add other things to their tea, just like Mongolia still adds things to their tea. Tibetans have butter tea. A lot of the Central Asian cultures use butter or salt or something to that effect. And so it's really a specimen, but a lot of people for a long time thought that they were
that was the deal.
That was the here's this big cool thing of brick tea, and little did we know we were all wrong.
All wrong.
So I have my brick of brick tea, but it's just for my next trip to Mongolia, not for use in Revolutionary War reenacting.
Right. Well, and just to back up for a second, I feel like it's a good, and you always start your tea talk off with this, but it's a good sort of starting base. What is tea? Like, what makes something tea versus like a herbal infusion?
Well, the prevailing consensus is that anything steeped in water is a tea.
Anarchy.
I mean, that's the modern anarchy, I
Whoa.
guess. But tea leaves are all from the same plant, Camellia sinensis, and just like if you grow a different plant in a different environment over many, many generations, some of them end up looking ever so slightly different. There are two distinct varieties of Camellia sinensis. There's one of which is a Samica. So there's like Indian tea and Chinese tea. Oh yes, we've brought the Earl Grey with moonlight added.
Yes.
To the table, and it smells amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's I'm hoping it brews properly, because it really is a taste sensation when done correctly.
Yeah.
It smells like hot chocolate almost. Like it smells chocolatey.
Interesting. I don't get that.
You don't get the chocolate notes?
I'm getting the chocolate notes now. It almost smells like cereal.
It's funny. Well,
It does. It's like
cornflowers.
it's like super. It's like sweet cereal. It's like a whole. You got Apple Jacks in there.
I love Apple Jacks
It's
so much.
You are whispering truth today.
I'm whispering truth. It picked it up. It's fine.
Okay.
it's mildly hilarious. This place is really known for their coffee, and their coffee is good. It's as good as any other hipster coffee joint. Which most of them do produce quality coffee now. It's kind of like craft beer. You go into any little brewery and they're going to have something that's fantastic. But since everyone's fantastic, it kind of, yeah.
Wow.
So sad I live in a world where everybody makes fantastic beverages.
Well, no. I'm greatly...
Your life is so dull because everything's just so good.
I'm greatly appreciative of the craft coffee culture.
Okay.
But as a craft coffee company, they need something to stand out. And so their teas stand out like no other.
All right.
So, tea plants. Tea.
It's all Camellia sinensis. It's all the same. And it has, the leaves are picked at different times. The leaves are produced in different areas. Some of them are let to grow into bushes and trees, and some of them are small plants. And then it comes down to how are the leaves produced? How are they treated after the fact? With green, you have very little oxidization, and then you have based it whether it's China or Japan, they're pan fried or steamed, and so then that's green tea. With black tea,
You actually blew my mind.
You have some sort of oxidization, just like when you cut open an apple and it starts to brown. That's what the black tea
Gets its color from.
yeah, that's where that's happening, and that's fully oxidized. They crush it or do something to it that allows to start that oxidization process, and then eventually they're dried. And then oolong is right in the middle of those two, in between green and black, and then white tea we know. And white tea apparently we hate when we go into the Taiwanese shop.
So, what's your opinion on Robusto?
Robusto.
Is that the way you pronounce it?
Rooibos, man?
You transcend spelling and you transcend pronunciation.
Rooibos.
It's not.
Rooibos tea.
Yeah.
So
or as I call it, Cardassian red leaf tea.
So by our modern definition, it is a tea. I mean, it's we make peppermint tea.
Everything's a tea.
We make all kinds of teas with various leaves that aren't Camellia sinensis as well. So, but rooibos tea developed in southern Africa. It was made popular by the Boers.
It's my favorite decaf tea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the theory that why it became so popular in South Africa is actually the Boers wanting to avoid paying British duties on tea.
Fair enough.
But it apparently has native roots and developed into super popular tea, and now it's popular around the world.
Yeah.
So
I would say it's the tea I drink the third most of.
yeah, I'd say it's actually the non-tea tea I would drink.
Okay. Before like peppermint or chamomile?
Yeah, absolutely.
Chamomile?
Or both.
Have you had it?
Rooibos?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
no,
never
I mean
had
that
Rooibos.
is actually the tea that I go to.
Yeah. It's
And
pretty
it-
good
I
stuff.
feel like a savage now. I've
And
never
well,
had.
you've seen Rooibos. It's
red.
It's super red,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's in my tea collection.
And that's like half the reason I call it like Cardassian red leaf tea. Because like that's a joke in Deep Space Nine.
You've lost me.
It's a Star Trek thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you'd been like, it's a joke in Lord of the Rings, I might have been.
Hang your head in shame.
It smells really
This
good.
is not.
I haven't.
This is not the Star Trek episode.
No, but careful viewers will note that I've made a Frasier or Star Trek reference in every episode.
What was the Frasier reference this time?
I said Frasier or Star Trek reference.
Oh.
Yes.
Well, you got to make a Frasier reference now. Does he talk about tea? Does he have a favorite tea?
If I'm not mistaken, his favorite tea is Darjeeling.
Okay.
I do know his favorite coffee. It is a finely ground Kenya blend, sans eggshells or anything else you would pull out of the trash.
Wow. That is so pretentious. That's great. That's the brilliance of Frasier.
That was his episode when Daphne first starts making his coffee, and she starts making it with eggshells and I want to say nutmeg. It was either nutmeg or cinnamon.
If Niles had a favorite tea, what would it be?
Oh, if Niles had a favorite tea?
Yeah.
Is his favorite tea never mentioned? I feel like it would be.
Oh gosh, yeah, that does seem like a very Niles.
How many seasons?
6 seasons and a movie. I think it's 8.
Okay.
There's
a lot of
Frasier.
episodes. There are a lot of episodes of Frasier.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of episodes.
Happy 25th.
Yeah. Today, as we record this, it is the 25th anniversary of the airing of the Frasier pilot.
Important milestones in American history.
Indeed. I actually can't remember what the name of the episode's called, but
Pilot.
it's probably the pilot. Based on Frasier naming convention, it might be the pilot.
Yeah. Was
Now-
it about a pilot?
No. Yes?
This tea.
So back to tea.
Yeah.
This
Yes.
is an amazing tea.
It's like almost spicy,
So
but like sweet spicy.
if people want to try, I've tried a lot of teas. This is one of the best teas I've ever had. So where is this hipster coffee joint that everyone wants to buy their tea now?
They're in Peoria, Illinois,
Okay.
and they're called 3030.
Where's that bag?
I will go grab it.
And it's in Peoria, Illinois.
Yeah.
Here, try it without
And-
sugar. And like taste the air after you drink it.
That's an
proper.
exceptional tea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a really good tea.
Yeah.
Is it black?
Yeah, I mean it's a
mean, it's
traditional
Earl Grey.
Grey.
Yeah.
And you know, that's a lot of those ones with names are traditional blends. And when you have a traditional tea caddy, there are multiple types of tea or ingredients, and often people will have their own particular blend, you know, and this is the Earl Grey blend, and that's kind of I think the fascinating accomplishment of modern tea production, that companies can have consistent tea.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
remarkable.
You know, you can take a bag of Twinings, you know, Scottish breakfast,
Yep.
and
Probably
it is,
made in Poland.
and it made in Poland, and it's gonna taste the same year by year, and you know, just like wine brands blending, you have tea people that blend. I think that's fascinating.
This tea makes Earl Grey taste like my general opinion of how Earl Grey tastes is like they put something in it to cover up an accident, and this makes it seem like it was on purpose.
I think you've just had brand name Earl Greys. I think that's probably why you don't like Earl
Maybe.
Grey.
Ooh, you know,
I could probably be given a good Earl Grey. Some people love it, so I feel like I'm missing something almost. Like I almost believe that there's something good about every tea, even if it's a cheap tea and there's not a whole lot that's good about it. But
I actually had a really nice tea that was an obscure name, was Prince of Wales blend.
huh?
And it was very light. It was a light black tea.
Now I'm going to sound very pretentious here.
Usually.
My favorite Lady Grey. So this is my favorite Earl Grey. My favorite Lady Grey is the house blend from Fortnum and Mason's.
Okay.
Fortnum and Mason? Mason.
And where's that?
Oh, it's one of the traditional department stores in London, like Harrods.
Oh, okay.
It's just, you know, Fortnum and Mason.
I should know that.
You should.
It's very 20th century, though.
it's because he's saying Fordenham.
I know I'm
Fordenham and Mason.
Oh,
I know
Fortnum and Mason. Okay.
I know I'm mispronouncing.
Okay.
But they have a tea counter, and at the tea counter they have this Lady Grey that is the purest orange flavor you can get, and it's just fantastic.
So anyway, this is the most delicious tea ever. It's my top 3 favorite teas, and 30-30coffee.com. And that's 30 spelled out.
Oh, I wonder if you can order it. As far as I know,
I hope so.
As far as I pick up a container of it every time I go there, and it's actually remarkably inexpensive.
It's remarkably inexpensive.
That was like $9.
Oh, wow. Okay. So
Yeah.
actually remarkably inexpensive
Yeah.
for tea.
Because the tea lady, the Taiwanese tea
Yeah.
lady, is pretty expensive.
It's like $20 for half a pound.
This is 4 ounces. So,
And that's better than Tivana. We got to talk about Tivana too.
oh yeah, our tea lady does not like Tivana.
Yeah,
sure.
because you can feel like you have gone to a specialty tea store, but it's kind of,
Is Tivana its own store, or is it just like this weird thing that Starbucks does?
No, it's
No,
it's
it was their own store, and then Starbucks bought them, and then there's like this whole debate about where does Tazo fit into it, because they were going to push Tazo. Starbucks wanted to push Tazo as its own line,
Yeah.
like with Tazo stores.
Yeah.
And then they said, oh, it's just cheaper to buy Tivana. So they did. And somehow got Oprah involved.
But Tivana is a chain,
Yes, yes.
and you can
Yeah.
you can go into the store. But what I'm saying is it's like being able to go into a specialty tea store, but it's
Mm-hmm. And they do
dispensed to the general public.
they do have decent products, but I do have to say I only go there for their tea accoutrements. I go there for teapots. I go there for tea cups and tea storage vessels, that sort of thing. The teapot we're drinking out of currently was my dream teapot from Tivana. It's the hobnail teapot.
With real hobnails tapped into
Sticking
the
out
bottom,
of it.
No, but it is cast iron, and it is made in Japan.
and
which
it
is
will
kinda
leave
cool.
rings.
And it leaves rings on anything you leave it on. So we
And it's kind of difficult to pour. It's a great pot. Highly recommended.
Highly recommend.
I
It
do
has-
I do
it's
like
very
the dragon
straight.
teapot you have from Tivana.
my dragon teapot is amazing.
Yeah.
They had a series when Tivana was still Tivana as its own company. They had a series of elemental dragons, where one of them was wind, one of them was fire, one of them was water,
One of
and
them
so
was
on.
chair.
Yeah, fire, earth.
Okay. No more memes.
Okay. Did you meme that?
You didn't mean that?
So, they had this elemental dragon series, and I was in Sea Scouts at the time, and I just achieved a milestone in my Sea Scouting career, and so my parents said you should get something.
A nautical mile, Seastone?
Yes. And so I bought a ocean water themed dragon teapot that I do adore, but it is fragile, so I prefer to use a chunk of cast iron because cast iron is king.
But that's a different episode.
That is another show. But I do want to mention this while we're talking about tea and cast iron. A good strong black tea will remove rust from cast iron.
Yeah, because you have an original Civil War cast iron tea kettle.
Yes.
Well, kettle.
Yeah, I have a tea kettle that was made specifically by a company that only supplied the Union Army. Very rarely can you say this piece of cast iron actually saw action in the war, but this company started production in 1861, ended production in 1865, and only ever supplied the Union Army. So that's
And it's huge.
yeah, it's like almost a full gallon.
Yeah.
And
Tea for everyone.
tea for everyone. The thing that I was sold on it was, based on a little bit of research, was that it was used for boiling water to clean clothes. You boil...
And muskets and
yeah.
people.
Literally anything, like, boiling water is critical. So,
Should have told most of the army that.
yeah. So, apparently, like, every group of 5 men or so had a tea kettle that they
Yeah.
were responsible for caring for.
In theory.
In theory. And I took this tea kettle and I ran it through my oven on self-cleaning to get off all the, century and a half or so of gunk. And then I boiled it in black tea.
And it all just came off.
Yeah.
We did a couple things with the tea on there.
Yeah, I prefer black tea to... A lot of people will use...
Oolong.
A lot of people will use vinegar because it's the acid in the tea that's reacting with the stuff. But the acid in tea is a lot more mild than, say, a white vinegar.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so it doesn't need as much pacification afterwards. If you use something like white vinegar, you have to then rub it with baking soda to make sure it doesn't keep eating away at the metal. But, so my point is that when you're using a cast iron teapot, if you use it enough and you're constantly using it, it won't rust on the inside because any cracks or fissures or raw metal will be, for all intents and purposes, blued by the use of tea. This process is a type of bluing. Hot water with tea is a type of bluing.
Though some people just like the patina that the inside of their teapot develops too. Mm-hmm. We went today to my favorite Mongolian restaurant, and they moved, so they had new teapots, and I think the tea tastes ever so slightly different because
sure
they have new, clean teapots, and these teapots. They must have had been using the same metal teapots for the last 30 years. Because I think they had a little bit of a gnarly, patina on the inside.
I love the disdain you say patina with.
And that imparted a certain flavor to it. And it's different now, so...
Because they used jasmine, they were using jasmine tea, and that stuff, like 3 beads of that will give you a really strong tea. So it must have been a... do you know what I mean? If it was weak, they must have been, right.
And we do that for, all my Italian friends insist that I never wash the mocha, the stovetop espresso, with soap, so that the flavorful patina remains on the pot. Do you wash the inside of your stovetop espresso?
Yes.
Like with soap?
No.
Okay,
never.
There we go.
I use steam, actually, to clean it. But I do that after every 4th or 5th use. And after every use, it's just hot water.
But yours doesn't have the, distinctive coffee patina on the inside?
It will, and I do remove that. But no, I would never put soap or any other cleaning solution on it. But my stove...
That took convincing for me.
Really?
I really wanted to,
Clean it.
I really want to clean it.
Well, one thing I will say right off the bat, I hate 90% of stovetop coffee makers because they're aluminum. And I find that
Yours is not.
Mine is not. However, mine unfortunately does have one severe failing in that the filter is aluminum. So... I don't like the flavor aluminum imparts on the coffee.
But if you develop the patina...
Exactly. And that's why that's important on the aluminum ones. You also have the unfortunate thing of apparently aluminum in the presence of acid and heat has the tendency of creating chemicals that are apparently linked to Alzheimer's.
Huh. Well, there's no acid and heat when you're making coffee.
No, none at all.
Okay.
Yeah. So you don't have to worry about that.
So you kept motioning to me when I was holding the 30-30 bag. Did you have something else you wanted to say about it?
Oh, yes. So they do one of the most delightfully pedantic things at their store. So if you notice on the bag here, it says contains 4 ounces, brew with 16 ounces of water at 210 degrees.
Exactly.
They will not serve you tea that is not 210 degrees.
All right.
No matter how much you beg, plead,
you can
whatever.
Just wait a couple minutes.
That is their solution.
All right.
And it is hilarious. My mom, who is one who cannot drink hot beverages, they will not even give her ice cubes on the side.
All right.
Because it muddies the brand.
Nice.
So.
Delightfully pedantic.
And Kreeger is nothing if not delightfully pedantic.
Well, thank you.
I think we've all been described at one point
as delightfully pedantic.
Yes.
I would give this second batch a little longer to brew. No. I felt bad for poor Darrell as he poured his cup.
Oh no, I enjoy the lighter teas.
Oh, okay.
I think it's very good.
Okay.
Yes.
Teas and lighter and the different steepages. Do you ever, like when I get a good tea that's a nice tea that's not just like tea bag breakfast tea, that's like loose leaf proper nice tea. Do you ever like do the, for lack of a better description, like the actual Kung Fu Chinese ceremony way of pouring the tea?
Yeah, that's what that thing is up over there.
Yeah, so like you're supposed to, for those of you who don't know, what you're supposed to do is, and it depends on whether it's a white tea or black tea or green tea or oolong or whatever. The first, you put it in the pot, you pour it out after a very short amount of time.
Yes, it's a rinse.
To try that flavor, to get like, because it's almost like a perfume. It has different notes, obviously, and then you fill it again and leave it for longer and pour it, and then the last bit that has been extra steeped, then that's supposed to be like the ultimate cup.
Yes, except the experiences I've had with the tea ceremony.
With your sense of smell?
Yes. The first stage, you toss it and you just smell it. You don't actually drink the first stage.
Okay.
But beyond that, I find that with the way I brew tea, I don't rinse the tea. I just do a full pot. I can get 2 pots out of it, but I normally like to let the second pot steep for like twice as long or 3 times as long.
Yeah, and you can get multiple steepages out of some teas.
Yes. Yes. I find that a single tea bag can fill my pot twice. But I also like steeping my tea for 10, 15, 20 minutes.
Well,
That's not what it says on the bag.
No, the bag is very clear.
6 minutes.
4 minutes.
4 minutes.
4 minutes.
Yes.
Sorry.
And if any of you 30/30 personnel are listening, yes, we did only steep for 4 minutes.
4 whole minutes.
And it was great.
He came over. He's like, he held up his fingers. He's like, 4, and tapped his watch. I'm like, all right, can't drink it for 4 minutes. But I mean, you have like jasmines and stuff, because that's like a super strong, right? Like the first with fresh leaves. You would think that the shortest steep would be weakest, but usually it's the other way around if you're completely emptying the pot, because like with jasmine tea, it's almost too much like tannin if you just drink the first steep straight.
Opinions on flowering tea, because I'm used to most flowering teas being
like
jasmine.
a bloom tea.
Yeah.
I've actually never had the bloom tea.
Oh, well, we'll change that.
With when it like opens in the cup.
I'm talking about jasmine green, not like actual jasmine flowers.
No, this is just jasmine green with a little flower on the inside.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
It blooms. And I've never had it. So.
Oh. Yeah. Normally mediocre teas.
But have you had one where it's the full bloom?
Yeah.
Where it's mostly, it's not Camellia sinensis in the tea. It's like the bloom.
So, a good blooming tea, the dealio with that is that it is normal tea, but it is almost origamied, so that when it does do its traditional bloom, it folds out into a complete flower. It doesn't just open up.
Okay.
It folds out into a flower. They truly are little works of art. And often they'll have an unflavored, unscented flower, like pink flower in the center.
So that's the flower.
Well, that's the flower, but what you're associating blooming teas mostly with are the cheap ones where they just put a big pink flower in it and wrap it up. Yeah, those are normally junk tea that's all about the display.
Okay.
But there are higher end ones where it's...
And those are made with actual tea leaves.
Yes, but it's a jasmine tea.
Okay.
So I don't know actually if jasmine tea is tea. But it is normally a jasmine tea.
Okay, are we talking about flower, though? We're talking about... Because quote-unquote jasmine tea is just hand-rolled green tea that has been treated a certain way.
So
and it smells...
With jasmine flower.
Yeah,
right.
That's all this is, then.
But the actual... When you get the hand-rolled beads, or whatever you want to call them, there's no jasmine in them. They've just been, like, around it, I guess. And then you put them in, and they're just... Camellia sinensis, and then they unfurl in the water.
A good quality one will be pure tea leaves all the way through, and the work of art is the way it was put together.
Right.
All right.
The lower end ones, they start putting more and more flashy flowers in it. I've even seen ones that turn into goldfish.
Yeah, that's what
like
I was
a
talking
new
about.
thing.
You know, where you have the glass cup and you see the thing happen.
And that's about the display more than it is about the tea. But often you can get decent quality tea out of those. if you're willing to spend a little more on them.
All right. And then, the thing that's missing from this is hot chocolate. And a full discussion of hot chocolate, because
We haven't done coffee.
one of the things that, my point is, one of the things that we forget is 17th and 18th centuries and well into the 19th century, chocolate is just as much of a player as tea and coffee in Western culture,
It's the third option.
at least in Britain and the Americas. And coffee houses have chocolate. Washington served chocolate at Mount Vernon. It was reportedly, he preferred to serve that more than coffee or tea. So
It does have a decent caffeine content.
It does.
Well, in the kind of 18th, 17th, 18th, 19th century chocolate flavor that you're getting is, I think, a lot more cocoa-y. It's a lot more, It's a lot closer to, if anyone has ever had the Ghirardelli hot chocolate, that's like a cocoa powder, and then you make it's a lot, I don't want to say more bitter, because it's sweet, like it tastes sweet, but it's
More
definitely
full
not,
flavor.
it's not marshmallowy, it's cocoa-y.
Yeah.
It's not Swiss Miss.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, chocolate.
Yeah. So, do you have a favorite hot chocolate blend?
No. I do like following Townsend's instructions on making hot chocolate. But I do need the chocolate pot. I don't have a historical chocolate pot. It has like a stick that goes down the middle that you turn.
That has a special name that I forget.
Yeah.
Muddler?
No.
It's another one of those things that's on my list to buy from Townsend that I don't have
Well, and
yet.
there's this wooden, so it's so disappointing because you can't, like, the original ones have, it almost looks like a thing with a T blade almost on the bottom. Like, the wooden ones look like honey. What are those
My
called?
little paddle at the bottom.
Yeah, but like a block almost, like a round block. But the really nice silver set ones that you can see, and it's so difficult because when you're looking for them online or something, because we all want one, they look like coffee pots. Like, you know how coffee pots and teapots look differently?
Yeah.
And the coffee pots have the finials on the top. It's the exact same thing with chocolate pots, except for the finial you can pull it up because that's the little
Stirring
swizzle
thing.
stick, yeah. And then you're supposed to just roll it between your hands.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, but
So
it's
I
really
need
hard
the
to
chocolate
find
pot.
them. Yeah.
And the chocolate pot from Townsend will do for now.
So, I do have a favorite hot chocolate.
You do?
I do.
Yeah.
It's half Ghirardelli double chocolate,
Okay.
half Ghirardelli hazelnut.
Ooh,
All right.
Yeah.
please.
Yeah.
I did have an amazing beverage
Okay.
in Ireland.
Oh.
In Dublin. It was an iced chocolate.
Huh.
It was like iced tea or iced coffee, but iced chocolate.
Man.
It was amazing. Where was it? The famous chocolate
I know.
company in Grafton Street.
They're all over too. Hang on.
Yeah,
I don't remember the name of it.
but it was very good. It was like a very, very good hot chocolate.
So, it was milk based still, though.
Yeah,
Okay.
but just iced. An iced chocolate.
Like a milkshake.
Butlers.
No,
Like a
Butlers.
virgin mudslide.
Sort of. It was more like a plain hot chocolate, but iced.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a hot chocolate stuck in the freezer, and
All right.
Fair enough.
yeah.
Fair
It
enough.
wasn't a milkshake.
No.
Okay.
It was very exciting.
Trying to
So-
find the name of the thing.
On a completely unrelated note, but something I feel desperately that I need to bring up, there was formerly a root beer store in downtown Orange that lasted all of a year, and they used to have $14 bottles of root beer. So that was a thing.
Where was this? Downtown?
Orange, yeah, just
Yeah,
off the circle.
they got rid of that shop. No, I totally remember that shop.
Yeah, it was only there for like 6 months.
They were delicious though. All the sodas.
Oh yeah, yeah, but it was only root beer.
Was
Like,
it?
yeah, there was a exclusively root beer and sub sandwich shop.
Definitely remember eating or drinking root beer there. I just didn't know that was all they.
Yeah, they had like 47 varieties of root beer and
That's so
sarsaparilla.
exciting. And I have tried a lot of root beer. We with Civil War,
Favorite root beer?
we have root beer, and like you and I, we went through a lot of different bottles of root beer.
Yes. So I'm going to go off on a root beer related subject.
Yeah, we could probably do a whole episode on root beer.
Could we?
We could.
We definitely
could.
could.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, frankly, we can do an episode on coffee as well because we really didn't cover that today, other than lattes. You know, and just
We kind of started off with coffee.
we started off with coffee, but we
And then
didn't.
we spent a lot of time on gross latte.
Yeah, and your weird drinks.
We did talk a lot about.
Sorry,
our
everyone
drinks.
makes their lattes in their
Yeah.
own way. And...
In their own
All
time, in their own
lattes
pants.
are equal.
Okay.
Okay. So the little stirring swizzle stick thing in a coffee pot is called a molinet
Okay.
or a molinet. Maybe it's not supposed
So
to be
that's
pronounced
the
weird in
thing you
French.
spin to
Yeah.
to
That's sticking out of the
stir
top.
up the chocolate.
Yeah.
Working on some ASMR there.
Yes.
See? It looks like a
All right.
coffee pot with a thing.
It
very
does look
exciting.
like a coffee pot with a thing coming out of the top of it.
All right.
It's just a finial.
Someone's awfully done with tonight.
No, so what were you saying?
Oh, no, I agree with you that everything else could be left for a future episode. So, dear listeners, it is that time of the night when I thank you for joining us on this tea-related adventure. I know this was only a tease for later episodes.
Wow. Really?
Yes,
You feel good about yourself?
I do.
Wow.
So, good night, and see you out there.
Tea.